Boys and girls, children of all ages. I feel like extra like a ringmaster in a circus today with the top hat and the whole thing, which this is your boy, your buddy, your pal, the nonprofit sector connector. That's right. And the flag is waving in the background. The creativity just flows in the attic. Actually, it was a fluke. I had the flag there. I put the fan on, and all of a sudden, my producer and I are going, look at the flag waving. So if you're not watching, I will set the stage for you. Incredibly handsome chap, Uncle Sam hat, and flag waving in the background, a couple caricatures of me and on air sign. And if you are watching, well, I just bored you because you saw all that. So look, this show is special. It is the second in a 5-episode series of philanthropy in focus with the nonprofit sector connector, who is Tommy D, and that's me, which is easy for me. Somebody said to me, thank you, Tommy D, for being Tommy D. And I said, well, Michael, it's the only guy I know how to be. So it worked out pretty well. So I used to make a joke and say, look, if you see me in a meeting and you have to deal with me for an hour, imagine what it's like for the rest of the day, because I can't get away from me. And I still make that joke, but I used to make it as a self-deprecating joke, but I like hanging out with me. And I think we should like hanging out with ourselves the most, because can't get away from yourself. You're kind of stuck with that person. So look, a little bit of compassion for you, a little bit of compassion for our country today, a little bit of, I've been giving out hugs a lot again, man. I love giving out hugs. And when I don't see as many people in real time, you got to come sometimes. I did this on the other show the other day on the Professionals Animal Lovers show, a little virtual hug. Look, we got to take care of each other. I did a video talking about leading up to last week's show with Vince Santilli from Homes for the Brave out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. And then I made this cute joke where I took off a hat in another video and I said, well, you know, I'm Tommy D and I wear a lot of hats. So the Uncle Sam hat comes off. The cowboy hat, which I don't know how many cowboys wear red hats, but, you know, I am Tommy D and that's sort of the thing. So I was at Belmont Racetrack the other day and showed up with a cowboy hat on, expecting that, you know, I'd get to ride a horse, but they didn't let me ride a horse. Eileen, they didn't let me ride a horse at Belmont.
I don't think you want to ride one of those horses.
I don't want to ride. I couldn't. I think I'm probably too tall, you know, to get on the horses, because it seems like a lot of the jocks are much smaller than I am. And those thoroughbreds move pretty quick. I need one of these retired, repurposed, retrained horses like you have out at the Warrior Ranch Foundation, you know, like that, because I'm sort of like retired in my sportsmanship. You know, I'm a little slower paced right now, so I need a bit of a slower horse. But I have a bunch of stuff I want to say about you, but let me say good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hello.
And
welcome.
thank you for having me. I appreciate you having us on.
I'm thrilled to have you. And I want to tell a backstory about not how we kind of met, but
how we met,
but how the start, because we did meet, right? But how the stars sort of aligned. So it was a Friday afternoon, maybe a month and a half ago, and I sit on the board of another organization in the equine therapy space called Horseability out here on Long Island on the campus of SUNY Old Westbury, where I actually graduated from. Katie McGowan is a buddy of mine, and there's a gentleman, a retired trainer. I think he used to train at Aqueduct here on with the Trotters, if I'm not mistaken. Robbie, right?
Robbie Siegelman, great guy.
Yeah. So I'm at Horseability doing what I do, bringing some of my friends from Little Flower out to meet Katie, Little Flower out in Wading River, just doing the nonprofit sector connector stuff that I do, bringing people together. And I start chatting to Robbie, and he goes, I see what you're doing. You know, he goes, you got to get out there and check out Warrior Ranch Foundation. So I said, tell me about it. He goes, well, I go out there, I do this stuff. All right. So that's a Friday afternoon. I leave there. In my neighborhood, the American Legion was having a cornhole tournament, which I met a bunch of the guy. I was going to say the boys, but these men are 80 and 90 years old. So I met a bunch of the men at the Legion, and they said, tomorrow we're having a flag raising with the SAR flag, which we could talk about, but Suicide and Remembrance flag. Kevin Hertel, his organization, another nonprofit, working on getting him on the show. Tommy D, they said, would you come out tomorrow on Saturday for this flag raising? And I said, yeah, sure. I don't know much about the organization, but I'm happy to be there. Again, we hear about 22 a day, everybody, this tragic situation of veterans dying by suicide. And I'm learning, we're not saying committing suicide, because committing it's a crime, but these folks are dying by suicide. And it's because of PTSD and other mental health issues, but we'll get into some of that, I'm sure, today, because some of what Eileen and her organization does is addressing that problem of what these folks are going through. So I'm at the American Legion in my neighborhood, and I had just been told by Robbie Friday afternoon, let's say 3 o'clock. Now it's Saturday morning at like 10 a.m. and I'm standing next to a woman, and I look over and I look at her shirt and I go, oh my God. And it's Eileen Shanahan, who's here right now from the Warrior Ranch Foundation. And I was raised religious. I am not religious, but I believe in this whole universal consciousness where we're all connected. The universe has its way. And I lean over, I said, how you doing? I'm Tommy D. You have no idea what that means. Let me explain a little bit of what that is. And then we sort of began building this relationship. And here we are today. But I will say something else. A couple of weeks ago, and I put this on social media, my cousin just got married. So he had a bunch of like cousins and his buddies out to the east end of Long Island. And I went out there only for the Saturday night because I had some stuff with the kids. And I left super early, like 8 a.m. on Sunday morning to head back out west where I live on Long Island. And I'm passing by, Eileen, I think I told you, I make a left and I go down this road because I'm just kind of cruising. It didn't really matter. And all of a sudden out of the sky, I see the big sign for Warrior Ranch Foundation, trying to combine the words, Tommy D, slow it down. And I just do a loop and I go, dude, you got to go take a picture. Long story. Well, an old friend of mine, Mike, Eileen, said, Tommy D, you couldn't make a long story short, even if you wanted to. And I got to tell you the truth, I don't ever really want to anyhow. It's just a saying I say. I want to make a short story even longer if I can. But today it's about you, Eileen. I want you to tell your story, but I'll leave it with this. I got out, I took a couple photographs. It was a Sunday morning, like super early, like 8 o'clock. I mean, that's not early on a Monday, but on a Sunday it was early. And this woman comes out, can I help you? She happened to be staying on the ranch because she's on the board and all this kind of stuff. And, no one was there. It was super early. So she was like, let me give you some pamphlets. I said, Eileen's coming on my show. And she's like, who are you, weirdo? Like, like button the top of your Hawaiian shirt. Like it's like Sunday morning. So anyhow, that was how
that was Joan, our treasurer.
Joan. And I think she's not even from up here. She was like, just happened to be there kind of thing. Right.
Yeah.
So it was all that. And then this is what I kind of say, like, these things are meant to be, and this is supposed to have happened. And I'm glad you're here. I do want to just read a couple things and then we're going to let you take it away. You studied horses for 20 years, been in television production since 1984. This organization comes out of your love for country, your love for horses, the respect and commitment you have to first responders and veterans. When we spoke earlier this week, military family, first responder family. We're going to dive into all that. Like we said the other day on this program, when you and I were talking the other day, I want to learn about Eileen Shanahan. I want to know about you. I want to know what drew you to this work, a little bit about what I said there. I want to know why this organization came to be. We'll talk about the programs. We'll talk about the impact. And I promise you this, we will certainly run out of time before you and I run out of words to say. And that's kind of the theme of the show. Without further ado, Eileen Shanahan, founder of Warrior Ranch Foundation, way out in Calverton, Long Island. I would say way out because
it's not way out.
You know what? Because I'm a Nassau County. I'm a Nassau County kid. So it's like, that's far out there, but it isn't. Everything's 45 minutes once you get on the expressway. So how are you? What's going on?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. And I do just want to say that beautiful sign that you see when you come up to the ranch that was done by Ironworks of Southampton. And it's a beautiful, beautiful sign.
Ironworks of Southampton, shout them out. We said in the green room, we're gonna do a lot of shout outs. So let's start right there for sure.
Right there. No, it was a beautiful sign. And I have to say, we just wanted it to say Warrior Ranch as he came in, and John came up with this, and Kevin, another gentleman who works there, came up with the idea. When you go in, the sign will look a little shrapnel-ish because you're a little wounded. Then when you come out, if you look at it, it's nice and shiny. It's a two-folded sign.
From the inside, I didn't see the inside. So you're saying
you stopped at the gate, you didn't come all the way in.
So I'm a little wounded, I guess, still. So I got to get in.
You got to get all the way in, and then you'll go out. And you'll see the sign is a lot. It's and that they came up with on their own. They did that, and I thought it was a wonderful, beautiful idea. And they did it in the sign. It's just beautiful. It's a big 20-foot archway sign that goes across the whole driveway. It's stunning.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, you and I will make sure when I do come out for a visit, which we got to figure out this summer.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get a whole bunch of pictures and stuff, shoot some video out there and have fun with it. I'll try to make it not 8:07 on a Sunday morning for everybody's help. So tell me about your background. I say military family, tell that story, please.
Well, I'm one of 8 kids. We had a good Irish Catholic family. My father was a Marine, and the only reason why I say was is because he's guarding the pearly gates now with St. Peter. Because once a Marine, always a Marine. And so anyway, so we grew up, love of country, love of God. That was the way we grew up, a love of family. That's how we grew up. I used to joke around. I grew up in a boot camp because my father used to come into the bedroom. We had a couple of bunk beds. Like I said, there was 8 of us. There's only a 3-bedroom house. We converted attics and basements and everything like that. But we had 4 bunk beds in one room. It was 4 girls in one room. And he used to come in the room in the morning and go, rise and shine, up and at 'em, fall out, hit the deck, let's go. We were all like, oh, Dad, come on, we're tired, So, but it was a fun, loving way to wake up. And but he always taught us to thank veterans when we see them. His brother was in the Navy. He was a commander in the Navy. So there was a little battle going back and forth between them. My brother was served in the Navy, my brother-in-law. I have 3 Marine nephews and 1 nephew who's in the Army. Some of them are out now, but they've all served. We've got first responders in my family. We've got my brothers are firefighters. My cousins are cops. My mother's a nurse. My other cousin's an EMT. So we've always grown up taught to serve. And that's my background. And it's
and that goes back.
We've been taught to give back.
Yeah, that comes from your dad. That's
Yeah, and my mom.
And your mom as well.
Yeah, but my dad's, he was in the service, and my dad also was part of the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. That's something that began in 1962. It started with one general who couldn't afford to send his son to college, and there was a few Marines there at the 21 Club, and they were chatting, and they said, I don't understand how a general can't send his son to college. And they held a dinner dance in December of 1962. They raised $1,500, and back then that was a lot of money. And this son went to college. So then that grew year after year after year. And today, the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, 60 years, gives out $10 million a year, $2,500 scholarships, or 3,000 scholarships, and it grew from there. So I watched my father serve for that during the whole time.
So you're growing. I just want to interrupt and say, I want to point these things out because I think there's, and I always say this, and I do this we always do a prep call, peek behind the curtain, everybody, but we do a prep call, for 10 minutes because I want to get really just like set the stage and stuff before we do the show. And I always say, there's a story there. There's a story why someone is drawn to the service. There's a story why someone is, and I mean service in a nonprofit service respect, but watching your father serve, not just as a Marine, not just serving this country, but an organization that raised $1,500 60 years ago, and that gives away $10 million and 2,500 scholarships every year. And seeing that, I know for a fact the things I go out and do, and this is not to like wave my flag or whatever, but the fact that I go out and do this nonprofit service, and my 7-year-old says, hey, Dad, when's your next day of service? I want to go with you. Mm-hmm. I know for any mistakes I might have made, I'm changing the trajectory of these young people, my 4 young people specifically, because they're watching me. And you saw that. I mean, you saw that level of service from your dad and your mom.
But that was the one, what I'm going to tell you is that it was the biggest inspiration for me, because I've been thinking about Warrior Ranch for almost 20 years. My sister Maureen will attest to that because she heard me always fantasizing and dreaming about it all the time. But it was way too big of a dream. It was like a lottery dream for me. And in 2014, it dawned on me, because I started helping my father with the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. And then when he passed away, they let me on the committee. And then I've been on the committee for nearly 20 years now. Wow. And what happened was, it dawned on me, I was like, they started with 15 Marine and 1 scholarship. Yeah. I can start with 1 soldier and 1 horse.
Stop right there. 1 soldier and 1 horse. If you have a dream, I'm channeling Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If you have a dream, if you see a vision, if you see an opportunity to do the thing, you don't have to do the whole thing this morning or tonight or I was going to say yesterday or today at lunchtime, depending on when you're listening to this program. If you have that, look at it, vision it, and you start. Just start. We're going to stop for a second because we're going to take a quick break. Stop. I can't. I'm dizzy. But so Eileen, you said I could start with 1 horse and 1 veteran and make an impact. We're going to hear about that. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You got it.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
And we're back. This show is Philanthropy in Focus. I'm your boy Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector. Ooh, we got more music. Static. Join Tommy. We got a double dose of music on that one. Very cool, very cool. I was wondering where the lyrics were, and then they showed up. So
Keep going with the music.
we're gonna keep
I
singing.
love it. Keep
We're
dancing.
gonna keep singing all day on the show.
I
Eileen,
think we'll like to hang out with you, Tommy.
you know what? More music, the better. You know. It's like they say more money, more problems, more music. More chill vibes. I mean, I'm actually thinking about this. The Great South Bay concert is tonight, and there's a group, Eileen, that I'm really into called Revolution, Rebel-Ocean. But Revolution, I dig them. I dig their vibes. I referenced some of the lyrics on a show where we had Joe Salamone from Long Island Coalition Against Bullying on the show, because they are supporters of the green movement in this country. And when I refer to that, I mean the legalization of marijuana, but which is fine, which is cool. But the vibes are, it's all about compassion. It's all about love. It's all about bringing people together. It's all about bringing people up. And I got that. I heard all that music and it got me going into Revolution. So Great South Bay show. I don't know if I'll make it out there, but I saw them at this great venue down on like Pier 17 in Manhattan, which was like right on the water. Obviously, pier would be right on the water, but I saw them out there. It was really, really cool show. Let's get back into this conversation though, because I got myself all kind of wacky. So, founder and president of the Warrior Ranch Foundation, Eileen Shanahan is an American who recognizes that freedom is precious, yet not free. She shouts out a lot of folks who are great horsemen and women, such as John Lyons, Pat and Linda Pirelli, Buck Brannaman, and Josh Lyons. Josh and John Lyons?
Yeah, it's his Lyons Legacy. Yep.
All right, so
actually partnered up with them.
You did. All right. So we'll talk about that. So, but her love, as we said in the front end of the show, her love of country, her love of horses, and a desire to give back led to the founding of this organization. Before we move on, we got to make a shout out, because we did have somebody checking in on Facebook, a friend of ours, who we called this person out by name. And when you call somebody out by name, they show up. So shout out Maureen Shanahan Anderson. She says this: one horse, one soldier. And I know you probably know this because this sounds like a family conversation.
Yeah.
Do what you can with what you have.
That is what she said to me.
Where you are, right? Do what you can with what you have where you are. Tell me about that.
Well, when we started, it was like, I don't know what to do. You know, it's like, I want to do this. How do we do it? Right. And my sister Maureen, my elder and wiser sister, said to me, do what you can with what you have where you are. And that's how it came to fruition.
Get started. She's saying, Eileen, get started, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
do something. Like let's make an impact.
Yeah, she's my older sister. She thinks she's the boss of me. So she says, get started, do what you got to do. So no, she's been a great inspiration for me. And what happened was, like you said, you were saying earlier today, how the universe is connected. It absolutely is. The trainer I was working with back in 2015 got a phone call from a veteran who has PTSD, and they were both, and he happened to be working with a rescue horse at the time. And they were all willing to let me document it. And they did a week of training. I interviewed the veteran, and I ended up making a film, and it was called, I made a documentary. But before I made the documentary, I made a 5-minute promo video, and I went around to the local electeds, starting with Tom Croce, who was the senator at the time. Then I went through a whole bunch of people. I just marketed it around, and I got to Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone and told him he couldn't believe what he was hearing, and just said, what do you need? And I said, I need property and I need funding. And he connected me with the Parks Commissioner, Phil Bordeaux at the time. It's now Jason Smagan. And they ended up licensing us to use, it's the old Beagle Farm in Calverton.
So let me stop you 1 second, because I saw Steve Ballone about 3 weeks ago. I was scooping some Italian ices at the Operation Vest. That's what
Operation Vest, great organization.
They're coming on the show end of the month. I have
Jenny and Stefan, they're fantastic.
Stefan and Jenny are coming on the show. I saw them, they did their thing, but Steve Ballone, who I don't know, but I met him that day, is very involved in the veterans community.
He's a veteran himself.
Yes, right. So, but he even ran that day. It was a run. It was a run walk.
Yes.
It was their dog tag walk, which was really cool. And we'll talk about that when they come on the show later this month. But so you were speaking his language, so to speak, right? Like I was in a meeting last night around 6:30, and discussing some. A year ago, I never would have thought I would have had any conversations with politicians. It wasn't really relevant to my scope of work. And then having this other show we do on the network, the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, I've gotten involved with this advocacy world. And I was at an event for the Scott J. Beagle Memorial Foundation. My friend Linda Beagle Schulman, who's been on this show here, in memory of her son Scott, they formed the foundation. He was tragically murdered in the Parkland shooting, and at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And I'm meeting these politicians, Eileen, and I never would have, a year and a half ago, if I'm at a networking thing and there's, they just want my vote. Like, I don't, like, why am I want to be friends with them? And now I'm realizing within the last 6 or 8 months, I'm making friends with people. I'm meeting with lobbyists. I'm getting connected in a different way. I call myself the nonprofit sector connector, but it was short-sighted not to think about the value of how much it is how valuable it is rather to connect with these political folks, right?
Steve Ballone was fantastic. So was Steve Flotterin, Sarah Anker. There's a whole bunch of them who helped. I mean, Phil Boyle, I like a lot, but Steve Flotterin was fantastic. But Steve Ballone was the one who got us the property, and we're licensed. And
how much property is it out there?
We have 6 acres. So we went from my backyard and private barns to 6 acres in Calverton. So, and when we were in my backyard, we served maybe 30, 40, maybe 50 veterans. We are now over 150 participants served between veterans and first responders. And when during the pandemic, we did retreats for healthcare workers.
Yeah.
And things like that. So
that's great. So what does it look like? We made a joke about me just passing by and whatnot, not really getting a good tour because there's nobody to give me a tour. What is the experience like? Even if you want to address, and even in the documentary, we started to talk about the documentary, and I took us out on this whole tangent. But the documentary, is that talking horses?
No, actually, that was a show that I used to do. The documentary actually is streaming on Fox Nation. If you just Google Warrior Ranch on foxnation.com.
That's One Soldier, One Horse?
It'll be on Fox Nation. It's called Warrior Ranch.
Oh, it's called
But it is One Soldier, One Horse. That's what it started. And when they agreed to air it, we had to do some editing.
Got
and we named it Warrior Ranch, and Joey Jones, U.S. Marine, narrated it. So we changed some things because initially I narrated. It was in a film festival. We won an award in a Equus Film Festival, and then some re-editing, and now it's on Fox Nation.
And on foxnation.com, it's Warrior Ranch.
Warrior Ranch, yes.
Warrior Ranch. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So,
But when people, you want to know what happens when people come to the ranch.
yeah, I definitely.
So what happens is, like when we have a retreat, we call it retreats. We have about 9 or 10 veterans and or first responders that are participants. There's a few horse coaches. And when people come in, they check in between 9 and 9:30, and we have some coffee and bagels for them, make them nice and feel comfortable. It's a very relaxing atmosphere. But then I will tell them at about 9:30, I tell them what we're doing. And what I explain to them is, by nature, horses are prey animals and humans are predators. Horses are prey, humans are predators. Okay, that's just nature. And as a prey animal, their senses are very heightened. Okay, so so there's a similarity, because our veterans and first responders, when they're in combat or whatever, and our first responders, they're very hyper vigilant. They're on alert all the time. So a horse is a prey animal. They can feel a fly land on them. You ever watch a horse?
The size of that incredible, beautiful animal, and they could feel just a fly.
Right. So you'll see them twitch, right? So you'll see them twitch their skin. So that's all the energy you need to communicate to that horse, right? So now.
Oh, you're saying, so just let me see if I'm hearing it. I could be by the horse, and we're getting to know each other, and just like a soft tap lets the horse, we're communicating now.
Yeah. So that's the term is, you be light as a feather and firm as necessary. Okay. So you may have to go a little harder, but there are phases. You suggest, ask, tell, command, or phase 1, 2, 3, 4, however you want to do it. You start out soft, you get a little, more assertive, to the point that you may just have to tap them. But that's all you need. And they learn from that, because horses communicate through body language. Like, they don't speak English. They have no idea what we're saying.
Right.
They understand tones, but they will mirror our energy. Now, here's the thing about horses. They can feel your heartbeat from 5 feet away.
What?
So they will sync up to you. So we start out by grooming the horse and brushing the horse a lot, because then you start syncing up with the horse. If you ever watch National Geographic or whatever, and you see a herd of 100 horses and they're all have their heads down grazing, then all of a sudden, all at once, they all jump up and run. It's like, why are they doing that all at once? It's because they're synced up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. I will tell you. So see if you can help me with this.
Yeah, sure.
I go to Horse Ability.
Mhm.
Definitely on a monthly basis. I was out there for a board meeting a couple weeks ago. Shout out to Katie, shout out to Team Horse Ability, shout out to the 300 some odd volunteers every week.
Absolutely, because they come out and help us at our events. So we love horse.
Oh my God. And what a special organization. But as important that those 2-legged volunteers and 2-legged employees are, the 4-legged employees, when I go out there, I thought I was just making this up, but I literally feel more calm. My body is calmer. My blood pressure feels like it's down. I can breathe a little better. I'm not as high strung. Tell me about that.
Well, I always say horses are God's most magnificent creature. There's no doubt about it. What has to happen is, when you groom, you start connecting to them.
Mhm.
Okay. But what I want to talk about mainly is what we do is, because we have brought horses, we've domesticated them, but they are still horses. They are still prey animals, and they're herd animals. So we are now entering into their herd. Like, let's say we have a couple of horses and they're hanging out. You go in there, you have to be that leader. You have to be the leader. Horses want leadership. Horses love leadership. Horses need leadership. And what I mean by that is, in a herd, there's only one, whether it's 1, 2, or 100 horses, there's only one number 1, one number 2, one number 3. And there's a pecking order, and every day it gets tested. Okay.
Oh, so it's not permanent. It can be.
No, it's not like a hierarchy in a job. No, it can be that way. It can be end up the same way every day, but it gets challenged every day, is what I'm saying. So yeah. So you, for your own safety, have to be that leader. And what happens is, if you watch horses, they'll pin their ears, they'll poke at each other, they'll bite each other, they'll kick each other. And they're not hurting each other because they're 1,000, 1,500 pounds, but we're not. So when we enter that world, they only know how to communicate through body language. So that's
right. So they start pushing me and kicking me.
You're going to end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
So it's all about safety. It all comes back to safety. and effective communication. And so we teach you how to effectively communicate to that horse. Then that horse will respect you, trust you, and then you build a bond. And then that horse will follow you around that arena. So we do exercises. We teach you how to do that. And we have tools because to keep us safe, you know, we have some ropes and some sticks, long sticks that are extensions of our arms, you know, so you don't have to be like right on top of the horse. If you're a little afraid, you can be 6 feet away. And we have exercises and things to do. You can do as little as you want in our program, or you can do as much as you want in our program.
So let's stop right there real quick, because we do have to take a quick break. And I want to talk about the little or the lot. I want to know like what it feels like. So I got my bagel, I got my coffee, my blood pressure's down. You know, I mean, it depends how much coffee you gave me, because now I'm up, I'm down, Eileen. I don't know which way I'm going, but we're starting to settle in, and then you're gonna approach what the different programs are. Let's do that. We're gonna take a break. We come back from break. We'll talk about what that feels like for the folks that come out to Warrior Ranch. Be right back.
I am Joseph Franklin McElroy, host of the new podcast, Gateway to the Smokies. It airs on talkradio.nyc every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 7. Every episode is dedicated to memorable experiences in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and surrounding areas. This show features experts and locals who expound upon the richness of culture, history, and adventure that awaits you in the Smokies. Tune in every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 on talkradio.nyc.
Are you passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a small business trying to navigate the COVID-19 related employment laws? Hello, I'm Eric Sauver, employment law, business law attorney, and host of the new radio show, Employment Law Today. On my show, we'll have guests to discuss the common employment law challenges business owners are facing during these trying times. Tune in on Tuesday evenings from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc, now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
We're back. We're gonna sing the song now, Eileen. This is the part of the show when I have to get the lyrics to the song. I'm just kidding. Come off mute, Eileen. I want to get you back into the conversation. Just unmute. Let's get back into this real quick.
Just say you don't want me singing. I'll tell you.
You sure?
Yeah.
I mean, even around the campfire, like some of those old cowgirl songs, around the campfire where you eat beans out of a can and stuff like that. Is that what goes on at
yeah, I won't even tell you the song that me and my friends sing. Remember the song from Friends, Smelly Cat? You know,
smelly cat. What are they feeding you?
That was our song. That was our campfire song.
I think that's a good campfire song.
That was Gina Lamb, Martin Milton. I gotta let them shout out to them. That's great.
Who was it? I spoke over you. Shout them out again.
Martin Milton and Gina Lamb. That was our campfire song.
Love it.
Mary Jane. Oh my God, we had a blast.
What's good?
My best trail rider with those guys.
I love it. It's those are the memories, man. When you when you dial it back and you're looking back on a lifetime, it's like those moments, those cool things, the smile, the laugh. You know, isn't that what it's about? My expectations. I got 50 more years of this thing, but I don't know. You know, none of us, we don't know this.
No, you never know.
You never know. So let's make an impact today, right? So we get there.
Speaking of that impact,
tell me.
You had said earlier, our veterans and first responders are killing themselves at an alarming rate, and it's got to stop. It really has to stop, and that's why we're there. We're there to support them. We are a coping method. It's equine therapy. They come, they learn about themselves. We were talking about the horse interaction before. You start learning about yourself. When you're working with a horse, you become very self-aware, because you have to be, because that horse is going to respond to your energy. Like you can say to me, Tommy, you can say, hey, Eileen, how you doing? I'm saying, hey, Tommy, I'm doing great today. And I can have a big smile on my face, but I could be lying.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not, I am doing great right now.
Right. But the horse,
The
you're
horse
saying
will know. The horse will know.
no.
The
Wow.
horse will know, because again, they're prey animals. They feel our energy, so they will respond. We give some exercises to help, help them move the horse, and depending on how that horse is moving or responding or walking away from them, depends on the energy. Because we don't breathe. A lot of times we don't breathe, and if
We don't. Did you say we don't breathe?
Yeah, we hold our breath a lot. We hold our breath a lot. When you're doing something, you're holding your breath, and the horse feels that, and that's tension for the horse, So you're communicating through body language. So when you learn to communicate this horse, you learn a bunch of things. You become very self-aware. Your self-confidence grows, because when you're starting to maneuver 1,000-pound animal just by looking at it, or like waving your hand or waving a little rope, that's very empowering for someone, You also get a sense of boundaries, because you do have to have boundaries with that horse. You overcome fears, and it also makes us more compassionate. So there's a lot of things that come out of it for the human being. And it doesn't end right there at the ranch. When you leave that ranch, you think back on your day, and it takes you into your everyday life. We've had people, for example, a Marine came to us, and they have that Marine stoic look, and they have kids. And so they always used to think that mom was mad. Mom always thought she was smiling. This is a very happy, loving person.
Right.
Always thought she was smiling, but she really wasn't, because they're trained so much. And when you're
So that's not that. So let me ask you. That's not necessarily her personality is stoic. It's just
no, not at all.
trained into her.
No, right.
Right.
She's a great, fun-loving person.
Wow.
And when you're at relaxation, you're just, you have this look, and the kids always thought mom was upset or mad. And they, as a family, came to the ranch, because we will have a family day, and families will come to the ranch, and they work together, and they got to know what was going on. And now this woman says, this Marine, she's a wonderful person, very big advocate of ours, Stacy Castro-Tapler. I'm going to throw her name out there.
Hey, Stacy, what's up? I'm Tommy D.
And she says now there are more smiles in her household.
Wow.
Now she recognized, hey, I'm going to smile now. And
Changing lives, Eileen. I know you know this, or maybe you don't know this, but you and the people on your staff and the volunteers and the people on your board are literally changing the trajectory of someone's life, especially when we're talking about people being so hurt, so broken, that their only answer is to take their own life. And whether it's first responders or a veteran, or somebody who is not a first responder or a veteran, the mental health crisis is something that has
it has to be addressed.
It has to be addressed, but I feel like I've been up on this soapbox for the last 4 or 5 years, specifically on the show for the last couple, but I don't know if we're addressing it completely, but the awareness is there. Or at least I feel in my circle, the awareness is that everywhere I go, and we own an insurance agency, employee benefits. So a lot of times our clients are asking us about mental health services. Whereas years ago, I don't think that was it was not as apparent. There was the stigma. There still is a stigma. But you know what? I always get on this high horse where, high horse. But I always get on the high horse where I say, like, if I trip down the stairs of the attic, and I hope I don't, but if I do, and I break my arm, other than people give me a hard time because I tripped, no one is going to deny me services or saying I shouldn't go to the urgent care with a broken arm or a bum knee. But with mental health, it's different. It has been different. But I feel like we're getting to a point where we're addressing it.
I do
feel the same way?
I do feel like people are starting to address it a little bit more. I believe even the military is doing a little bit more. The transition from military to civilian life isn't easy. And I do think they're starting to recognize it finally. And things are being done, and I'm hoping we're there to help. And another part of our program, what I want to tell you, which is what I think draws veterans and first responders to us, is because we rescue horses. And
what does that mean? Tell me about that.
Well, okay, so you got some horses that, when a racehorse, for example, like Sully's one of our trotters that Robbie Siegelman works with. He came.
Is that the horse? Hold on. Is that the horse that's got like a missing an eye?
Yeah, he's missing an eye. Yep.
Right. Okay.
Sully's missing an eye, and then we have Ranger, who again, and 2 little minis. Now, what happens with some horses like Ranger and Sully, when they're done with their careers or whatever? Sully was a trotter, raced for a couple of years, then when he was done with his career, ended up with the Amish and worked with the Amish. And then when the Amish are done with them, because again, it's their lifestyle, nothing wrong with it. They use them as tools. They don't drive. It's the way this country is.
Right.
And then when they're done with them, he ends up in an auction or a kill pen. And somewhere along the line, we don't know if it happened before he went to the kill pen or not, but Sully, where he lost his eye. And the racehorses have tattoos on them. So the Standardbred Foundation was alerted to him being there. So they pulled him out of there. And then we've got him. And now we work with him and our veterans.
He's in the story, though. I think it's poignant. So I want to tell this story because I think, and Robbie, I'm sorry if I shouldn't tell the story, but didn't Robbie take some veterans to, I guess, the auction or whatever, right?
Oh, I don't know if he took him to that. That I don't know.
I thought this is how Sully ended up on the ranch.
Oh, yes.
The veterans were able to pick, and they picked Sully. I don't know if that was always Sully's name, right? But
it's not his name. No, that's we renamed him Sully.
Right. So, but that was like, and they, a horse who had a rough run, quote unquote, right? Who was broken a bit, who you had lost an eye, and there was that connection, or at least I'm making that connection with veterans who had some of their own challenges, and they really connected with that horse.
Yes, there were a few horses that we had to choose from, and they wanted to take Sully because he was missing out, because they can relate to him.
Yeah.
And now he's doing well.
Yeah.
He still has ways. He's not ready for adoption yet, but because we're starting to ride him again. He does a driving program with Robbie on Saturdays, which is fantastic. That's, it was so great.
Driving meaning like with a cart on the back.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, similar like Out of Horse Ability or Palomine, these other organizations where somebody might not be able to ride, right? So you have the cart for those folks.
Yeah. So, but we're also starting to ride him and get him, so that will make him a little bit more versatile and a little bit more adoptable. And then we have Ranger, who again, too, I'm not sure why, but he ended up at auction, ended up at a kill pen. He had some training behind him, but then he was adopted out, and it was just unfortunately a mismatch. And the person loved this horse very much, but then needed some help and with him. So now he's with us. Gina Lamb is training him right now. She's a great trainer from Iron Horse Fields, and she's training him, and we're looking to get him adopted. But I do want to, again, give a shout out to Josh Lyons, because Josh Lyons is a great horseman, and he came out and he donated 2 days with the veterans of his time. This is a world-renowned trainer, and he came out to Warrior Ranch and worked with our trainers. It was an amazing experience. And we were he uncovered some early training issues with this horse and guided us on how to fix it. And Gina's doing a fantastic job with him now. So we're looking forward to him getting to a point where he'll be ready for adoption. And then we have two miniature horses that were surrendered. They're cute as anything.
I love the minis. We had a mini on the first episode of Philanthropy in Focus. They got Pearl and Aiden out at Horse Ability. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, 6 episodes into it, I still don't know what I'm doing, maybe, but I certainly didn't know on episode 1. And Katie McGowan is like, should I bring the mini in after the break? And I'm like, yeah. So she brings the mini into her office, and I had a horse on the show, like before the show even anybody knew I was doing a show. And they are so special. They have a minivan. I'm doing air quotes if you're listening. I'm doing air quotes, and they put them in the back of a like that I took my kids around in, like a minivan. And yes, Tommy, exactly. And that's so cute that they put them in. And they go to see senior citizens homes, and they go see people who are homebound, excuse me, and really special. So do you guys have similar programs?
We don't take them out just to that. We do some little driving. We just do some natural horsemanship. They participate in our program, the natural horsemanship program. And but they were surrendered because their owner had a medical condition and couldn't take care of them. So now we take them, but they're ready for adoption.
I want to ask you that. We're going to go to another break, and when we come back, I really want to talk about community involvement, because I know you said it to me this morning, and I know you said it to me the other day when we spoke. We got to give more shout outs to the community.
Phenomenal community. Absolutely.
We'll talk about that when we come back, but I just want to understand, you keep saying adoption. So there's services while veterans can connect with these horses, but there's this bigger picture here. You want to tell me about that quickly, and then we'll go to break?
Yes, they help us with all these veterans and participants working with us with these horses. If I can work with the horse, you can work with the horse. Joey can work with the horse, Jen can work with the horse, all these people work with the horse, it makes them that much more adoptable. So we have a twofold mission. It's our veterans and first responders, and it's also rescuing horses in need and finding them a forever home. So it's America's heroes rescuing America's icon.
America's heroes, rescuing America's icons. We actually have to have you on the other show because I want to talk that story. We have to have your professionals and animal lovers show with my partner Valerie, because we got to talk more about that rescue piece. We're always talking rescue about smaller animals. We're not always talking about rescues about these.
I'd love to be on it.
Like, we'll make that happen. All right, let's take a quick break. We come back. Philanthropy in Focus. We'll bring it to a close. We're going to talk about what's coming up for Warrior Ranch, how you can help, how you can make connections, and we want to shout out the community. Oh, talk about shout outs. Barbara is checking in. Barbara, where do you go? Barbara Jean Smith. What's up, Barbara Jean Smith? What's up? Charlie and Tanya Dybel always checking in for Tommy D. We'll be right back.
Yep. Okay.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be Frank About Health to advocate for all of us.
Calling all pet lovers.
Pet Avengers, assemble!
On the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, we believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. It mirrors that bond between pets and their owners. Through this program, we come together to learn, educate, and advocate.
Join us live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. at talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
And we are back. All right, so this is the lightning round. I always wanted to be a game show host. Eileen Shanahan, come on down. Welcome to the show, Eileen.
Down. I'm down. Here I am. I'm running down the aisle.
And they're like running down the aisle and the whole thing. I love that. So
I'm actually riding my horse down.
You should, yeah, because like, because let's make a deal. Let's make a deal was the one where they like dressed up in different costumes, right? Yeah. The Price is Right. It was like you just had those big old name tags that like they looked ridiculous 30 years ago, and they still make them just as big on the show now because it's hysterical. So this is sort of the lightning round. This is the part of the show where I make sure we get it all out, where you get to say everything you wanted to say. I have notes that you and I just shared in the chat because there's certainly some things you want to hit upon. But I know from our conversation how passionate you are about the community, some of the local trade unions, some of the just people, the donors, the individual donors. Let's talk about that. Let's give them all shout outs and say, hey.
We have had amazing support from the community, and the biggest shout out has to go to Local 138. Vinny, George, Ryan, the Duffys, Anthony, they have been amazing to us. Lubove, amazing people. They have.
What was their connection?
What's their connection is most of them are veterans.
Right.
This Jody Giglio is another one who's part of that. Assemblywoman Jody Giglio helped us with that. But Juliet Hackett made a cold call one day. Juliet Hackett's one of, she's a part-time employee. I have to give a shout out to Jamie Mainzer too. But Juliet Hackett, we had 3 acres that were covered in brush. And we just needed like 20 feet cleared. So we're out there with our chainsaws and clippers and stuff like that. It was actually hysterical now that we look back at it. But Juliet made a cold call one day and spoke to John Duffy and said, this is what we need. He said, okay. And they've been down there and they've been helping us ever since. They cleared the 3 acres. They're helping us with our outdoor arena. They've been phenomenal with that. And like I said, Lou Beauvais came down with his equipment, Local 138, all those guys. Karen Leeming from Footing First has helped us with footing for our indoor. And then she helped us with the design for the outdoor. Dan Pariziosi from United Ag and Turf I might have that backwards. It might have been United Turf and Ag. I'm not sure. They just switched names, so that's why. But he's been phenomenal for us, helping us all along with equipment and fixing our stuff for us. He gave us a gator and a lawnmower and things like that. Suffolk Security helped us with our cameras around the property. PSEG Community Outreach, they've been phenomenal this past year. They've been helping us with the fences and like my mind is going blank now because there's so many great things they've been helping us with. So PSEG has come out, they do a community day, and so is American Regent. They've done that too. What they do is they bring like 20 of their employees, they come out for the day. We have some tasks like painting the barn, putting up fences, and they just go and do it. And it's done in a day. You got 20, 30 people, all hands
And you
on.
knock it out, right? Many hands makes light work. Yeah.
And then fiscally, financially, New York Cancer and Blood has been a big supporter of ours. Squad Security helps us out. Like a lot of these things were
Squad Security. Are they out of Queens?
no, I think he's in Nassau somewhere. I did a radio show with him, and he donated 5,000.
I feel like he's my good friend Brendan Levy, who actually wrote the song. We wrote the song together. It was like a Lennon and McCartney thing, I like to say. The song for the show. Brendan's with the Queens Chamber of Commerce. He told me about Squad a number of years ago. So there must be some connection.
No, there's got to be a connection. Well, he's probably all over too. He's probably got a few places, but he was very generous for us. And then we have Rich and Mike Cave from Pink Tide Charities and Tide in America.
Yeah.
They, along with Riverhead Building Supply, and Riverhead Building Supply has been phenomenal with us all along too. They gave us $5,000 last November around Veterans Day, and they are now, we need a new roof on the clubhouse, and they are partnering with Riverhead Building Supply. This is Rich and Mike Cave, and they're going to put a new roof on.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But they also, I just want to say for them, they have exciting things that they're going to be doing and announcing real soon to help other VFWs. So stay tuned.
Really? All right. Very cool. Well, shout out to Rich and Mike. Joanne Winkhart Cave is a friend of ours on the other show. She's very close to my co-host Valerie, and has been on our program a couple times, I think, by now. Very involved in animal advocacy. I don't know if you know Joanne yet, but you should, especially.
Okay, no, not yet.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. There I go. I can't help myself. I'm trying to play connector. I'm trying to.
No, that's great. I love it. I love it. I just want to say that we find that a lot of my experience has been that these organizations help support each other. Like you mentioned Operation Best earlier. They're a great organization, like Dogs of War, Paws of War, again, Canine Companions for Independence. They're, it's just we all kind of help each other, and it's been great. I do want to also, other people that we partner with, there's a mental health aspect. Like we're equine professionals, myself and Gina and Juliet, we're all Kathy and Mary Jane, we're all equine people, right? So, but a lot of people who come, we don't analyze anybody, but we do have mental health people. We have fun, we work with the horse, but we do have mental health people there, in case there's a need, and that's not, so with the Dwyer group, the Joseph P. Dwyer peer-to-peer support group, we have partnered up with them. Ray Sittler and Marcel Lease and Danny, they come out. Ray Sittler's been a big help with us, and so is Marcel. And so they come to every retreat that we have. Diane.
How often are these retreats? Are they regularly scheduled, or is it like
they're twice a month? And really, that's how I do want to talk about that, because right now we only do it twice a month. And with everything that's going on today, we're at a point now we need to be available to these guys 7 days a week.
7 days. So that's the goal. When we talked earlier this week, that was the goal. How do we get this available 7 days a week, right?
Right.
What kind of money? Can we talk dollars and cents?
Yeah, we can talk dollars and cents. We are $250,000 to $300,000 a year budget in order to do it right. Okay. In order to do it full time.
250 to 300 grand. This thing operates 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Got it.
And that takes care of, I need at least one full-time person. We need a couple of part-time people. But then we have a great volunteer, I have to say, an unbelievable volunteer group. They come out, they feed horses with us today. They volunteer every day. They volunteer. They help clean and muck stalls. They mow lawns. They, fix fences. We have a great volunteer support. But in order to do something like this right, and social media people, I can't forget about my social media and photography people, videography. But in order to do this right, you have to hire somebody. So you have to pay some people. Right now it's 90% volunteer.
Yeah, that doesn't listen, as critical as it is, and we all know we love and we need our volunteers. And I want to make one quick comment. You heard about all those incredible names. Those are businesses. Some are private entities and different things, but a lot of those are businesses. And those are folks that are helping out. So if you're in a community and you want to help out your nonprofits, get out there and do it. 60 days of service. You know, that's what I'm doing. It might not be right for you, but do get involved. Go ahead, Eileen. You had more.
Another person, Bill Pitcher. I got to give a big shout out to him too. Another person, he's a big donor of ours. But we got to get it. We got to get open 7 days so people can just walk up to the barn any day. Like when you drive by, someone will be able to give you.
Yeah, well, I could have came in. I could have had like a cup of coffee. We're running out of time, so here's what I need you to do: Harvest East End fundraiser.
Harvest East End fundraiser, October 2nd. Okay. Check out our website. It's October 2nd, Sunday afternoon. We're going to have Bill Evans is going to be our MC. We'll have some military guests of honor. Two for the Road will be singing there. It's a great event. Please come. It's on the site.
It's on the website.
On the website. It's going to be held at our ranch, and it's 2 to 5 p.m. It's Harvest East End. Food, wine, beer, cider.
Nice.
It's all inclusive.
Nice. I don't know if you want it, but we'll talk about it. I think the fall flavors come out at Ralph's Italian Ices. Shout out to my dad at Ralph's in Huntington. If you want it, we could talk about that at that time of year. I leave them with something because I got a couple things I got to say, but anything you want to, there's so many people we want to shout out. Facebook was blowing up. Go ahead.
Thank you for your support. We need your support. So please go to our website and donate warriorranchfoundation.org. We definitely need some financial support in order to run our programs every day.
Eileen, I appreciate you. Thank the universe. You and I are becoming friends. I want you to be my friend. It's up to you, really. All right. Thank you very much. See, I kind of made you. I tricked you into that one.
Yeah, you did. That's all right. I'll be your friend.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you so much. This is Tommy D. This show is called Philanthropy in Focus. The month is July 2022. It's Veterans Month here on the show. Next week, Lou Falco from Operation Initiative Foundation, who, if you don't know him, Eileen, we got to get you connected. Lou Falco will be here. And Frank Amalfitano will be here with Lou from United Veterans Beacon House here on Long Island. Yeah. So we're keeping it local, Strong Island, representing for the veterans. And I'm having a pisser with this, man. It was an idea that came to me. Some of the other guests that are coming on the show, I met the same morning I met you, Eileen. The boy from Sail Ahead will be on the show later on. I mean, just so cool. Eileen, thanks for being here. Thanks for everybody checking out on Facebook. So much support, so much love. Appreciate you all. Support your nonprofits. That's what we're supposed to do because they're helping our veterans. I'm Tommy D. Stay tuned. Steve Fry will be here. Always Friday. Make it a great day. Later, gang.
Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks, Eileen.